So it's got a little family of ducklings down there, little paradise shell ducks, Parries, and there's mum and dad. It's the funniest thing, the parents do the old, broken wing routine to try and fool you, and it's the quickest way of knowing that there's ducklings around is when mum and dad start acting like fools. If they just get up and fly away, you'd never think to look, but little family of fellas in there. If we're quiet enough, we might get lucky and get to see the next generation of hamburgers being made. So we'll just wait here and hopefully I'll be able to grab you a couple of seconds of footage. T-bone steak in the making. Granted, it's a quick process, but it's about quality, not quantity. So cattle breed in a different sort of way to humans. So cows and heifers won't mate indiscriminately during the month. They have a cycle which lasts 21 days, and they come on heat, or basically interested in sex, only for a short period of that. Sort of depends on the cow, but 18 to 36 hours. And in that period she's on heat, she'll be ridden and ride. So she'll ride other cattle, so other heifers that are on heat, she'll ride them. Other heifers that aren't on heat, steers and bulls, will all ride her. When she's in standing heat, which is sort of in the guts of it, when she's most ready to receive, I don't know what you can say on YouTube, when she's most ready to receive the dose, we'll call it, she'll stand. So we call that standing heat. So there's a sort of a period on either side where the hormones make her interested, and make her interesting to other animals. When they try to mount her, though, she'll move away. When she's in standing heat, she actually hasn't ovulated yet. So if you imagine the egg released from the ovary only has a very short distance to travel to make it into the fallopian tube where fertilization happens, whereas sperm has quite a long way to go. And so what happens is sperm's deposited in the vagina, and it makes its way through the cervix, through the uterus, into the fallopian tube, and fertilizes the egg, hopefully, everything going well. So it's got quite a long way to go. So the egg is actually released after standing heat, and that's sort of one of the big differences between artificial insemination. There's our second bull. He's actually my favourite. The other guy that seems to be doing the work at the moment, he's okay, but he's not my favourite. I lost my train of thought. Right, I think I regained my train of thought. I was talking about the difference between artificial insemination and natural mating. So natural mating, the bull gets her in standing heat because that's the only time she'll stand still, really. And then what happens is the sperm takes its time and travels through the vagina, the cervix, the uterus, up the fallopian tube, and bish bash bosh, job gets done. What happens with artificial insemination is we pick the cows for mating based on who's in standing heat, and then they tend to get mated after that. And the reason they get mated after that is because we can't mate them before you pick them, but actually because the sperm is deposited significantly closer. So the technician actually manipulates the uterus and the cervix and holds it, threads a little pistolet through, and actually deposits the semen inside the uterus. And so the sperm has a much shorter distance to travel, so it can be deposited a little later and still reach the party on time. So this heifer that's on heat at the moment, so there's about 30 odd cattle in here, so I'd expect, we're at the end of the first cycle, so I'd expect probably only one heifer to come on every 2 or 3 days. So the bulls are not working very hard here at all. So if you imagine 21 days, I'd expect in a mob of heifers, I'd expect 100% of them to be cycling. So over the course of 21 days, 30 heifers are going to cycle, so you should be getting a heifer and a bit and a fraction every single day. And because of the length of their heats, there should be some heifers coming on, some coming off, and some right in the middle of standing heat all the time. Obviously statistics doesn't work like that, because sometimes you get a clump of them and then nothing for a day or two, but that's the general idea. Once we reach the second cycle, if 100% of the heifers were mated, then the majority of them should be pregnant by the time we reach the second cycle. So then we should only have maybe 20 or 30% still remaining to be mated, so that's only 5 or 6 heifers. So what that means is probably every, by those maths, it's probably every 3rd or 4th day we should get a heifer on. So so I shouldn't be seeing too much action. It appears to me there's only 1 heifer on at the moment. So yeah, seems to be working.